What's up, everybody? There's been some rumors circulating about 100 Thieves possibly hinting, joining, and picking up a team in the RLCS. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how it came to be, why it is just rumor, and if they were to pick up somebody, who are their best options? What's up, everybody? Lawler here, inside source for all things Rocket League. Going to be talking about more so a broad thing, which is more than just 100 Thieves. We're going to talk about it in two parts. First, how this conversation came to be in the first place, and then if they were to enter the scene, who they should go about doing so. Before we get into that, as always, if you guys do enjoy the content, consider giving it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. Links to everything as well as I talk about down below. The way we're going to start out is the original tweet came from Jack Dunlop. If you guys don't know who Courage is, or Courage JD on social media, co-owner of the 100 Thieves roster, content creator, commentator, does kind of just about everything. Huge popularity from Call of Duty scene and Fortnite and you name it. Put out a tweet last week saying, would people watch a Rocket League stream tomorrow? Who's down to watch me fail? I'll need help. And of course, a bunch of people replied to it, offering help and suggestions. Every pro and their mother wanted to hang out. And eventually it led to Rizzo and I think Arsenal playing against him, and John Sandman was his coach. Don't know if I agree with the order of operations there, but either way, it was a pretty good time. There was a bunch of clippable moments from that stream. The only difficulty is he streams on YouTube, and YouTube doesn't have clips. Or maybe they do now. Either way, kind of difficult if you want to go back and check the VOD. I think Rizzo may have been streaming as well. Either way, conversations got going, and you started to see a co-owner of 100 Thieves starting to recognize kind of the beauty that is Rocket League. The thing that a lot of us go through when we first play Rocket League for the first time is you either kind of fall in love with it because you understand that like it is something new. I've never played something with like this physics engine. It doesn't translate from any other game. All the beauties of Rocket League. And you either fall in love with it and grind it and can see yourself climb at a regular pace, or you hate it because you suck at it and then you leave. It's kind of one or the other. It's very polarizing. And you started to see him interested in it, kind of deep diving and getting explained by people that have been around for a really long time in this space, whether it be content creators, pros, coaches, analysts, whatever. And eventually put out a second tweet of a screenshot, as you guys are seeing on your screen, of the esports shop saying, yo, why are we not on this? Shake my head. And has a screenshot, and it shows the North American teams. Whether it's hinting at North America or not, to me doesn't necessarily matter. It's more so the conversation I want to have, which is if 100 Thieves were to join the scene, one of the positive things that would come from it. Number two, who exactly would they even pick up? Which teams are available, or which teams do I think are the most sought after that are, in my opinion, actually available? 100 Thieves has picked up rosters from other international scenes, whether it be Australia or otherwise. So I don't want to limit it just to North America, but obviously the big ones everybody is talking about, and one that I can confirm is being sought after by a lot of big names, is True Neutral. True Neutral obviously is the hot commodity. This is a team that's shown top 4 potential and consistent potential of top 8 in the RLCS in North America, which is massive. That is one of the most competitive regions outside of Europe, and the ability to showcase in your first season, obviously previous SAM World Champs, then coming into North America, we had a lot of question marks around them. They tend to be answering and living up to the expectations. Right now, they're currently tied 4th in the standings overall, and there is a bunch of other teams, 5 in total, including them, that are fighting for a top 5 spot to go to the major here in December. That we will find out how the results go down 2 weeks from now in the 3rd and final regional for fall. True Neutral, obviously, kind of the most sought after team. Everybody knows about them. I talked about their situation in a video a couple weeks ago. If you guys haven't seen that, go check that out. But primarily, True Neutral is the one that everybody's going after, but they're expensive, and they're going to be expensive, and rightfully so. That team is about to get paid, and I'm happy for them. Vamos. You know, it's good stuff for True Neutral. But there are some lesser-known teams that are also opportunistic in this scenario. You can talk about signed and unsigned teams. It's just a matter of the buyout that comes with it. If teams and players are under contract, you either have to buy out the rest of the contract, usually a little bit more on the top. Company regains and makes money back, blah, blah, blah. We can talk about that more in detail with a org owner in the future. I look at a couple of teams in the list, and primarily one that comes to mind is Vibrance, a team that performed quite well in their debut, I would say, into the RLCS in Regional 2. Vibrant's a team that could definitely be the focal point, with Astro, Oath, and Fifi have performed quite well. Right now, they do find themselves in the closed qualifiers, so a top 16 team that has the ability to make it back into the official top 16 of the main event. A lot of people kind of pointing at them. You can honestly look at and point at any of the teams that are either in that like lesser C, B tier that aren't kind of the most prolific. By all means, 100 Thieves obviously have the financials to go and buy out a top tier roster. That's what a lot of rosters would like to do. But based upon things I'm hearing, a lot of these top tier orgs, the ones that are top 5, top 6 potential, have been offered 7-figure buyouts and contract stuff, and they're not budging. They don't want to give up their rosters, and rightfully so. It's a very valuable position to be in, and finding a team of that caliber is not easy to do right now, which is why True Neutral is so sought after. You can look at any of the teams that are kind of in that conversation, though. Ones that, if you look back at previous regionals, that have broken into the top. I'm talking about Integrity, DVS, Charlotte Phoenix, any of those rosters that have notoriously been in the conversation. You're talking Nefarious, Vibrance, like I mentioned, RBG, any teams within striking range to make top 16 potential main event, to have a chance of the Swiss stage to go into the playoffs, are teams that should be considered. That applies as well over in Europe, and probably the best option, in my opinion, would be the Flying Dutchman. This is a proven team. They've got a former world champs in Violent Panda. They've also got a world-class coach in Verge, and you've got two of the best 1v1 players in the world with Jories and Jack. So Flying Dutchman is obviously a really good option. But the nice thing about Europe is pretty much all the top dogs are signed to a pretty notable roster. So buyouts and potential are there, but it seems very similar to teams in Europe. They got in early. They want to be kept for that reason. And looking at how things play out, I don't foresee a lot of these teams giving up their rosters, especially with all the recent signings that did most recently go down. You talk about some of the other teams that are in conversation. You've got Lily Esport, Cookster's Minions, Giga Guys, and that's honestly about it. I mean, Yeezys, but realistically, you want teams that have shown that they can be a top 16 team, and I do think it is a little bit more difficult for Europe because all the top 16 teams, other than the Flying Dutchman, have been signed, and recently. So Flying Dutchman from Europe is kind of your best bit, and then you've got Vibrance, Nefarious, RBG, if they want to give them, like, there's a bunch of different teams that could go in here and try to figure it out. But talking about kind of the last part is, what would 100 Thieves bring? Something that's cool about 100 Thieves is they usually focus a lot on content side of things, and you're starting to see this more and more about the growth of organizations and just in general ways to grow a brand. And 100 Thieves has done a really good job, not only with clothing and merch, but also the way that they get their creators together and then they make content around that. Organic content that allows them to showcase personality. You got to see that from a couple different places, and you are starting to see more organizations do that. And I think 100 Thieves is one of the best at accomplishing that. And what they could do in regards to Rocket League, I think really excites me. So this is one of the teams that you hope comes into your esports scene because of what they can accomplish and what they can do. And the way that they handle themselves. Benefit of having someone like Nadeshot at the helm, who has been doing content for so long and so well. So fingers crossed on 100 Thieves joining the scene and picking up a team. Most likely, I assume, are going after True Neutral, just like everybody else, alongside Moist Esports and a bunch of others. But primarily, True Neutral is going to be the one that's sought after, but I hope they don't forget about Flying Dutchman on the other side of the pond and some of these other teams that have showcased top 16 potential, almost top 8 as well. It's come down to the wire in some of these. So that is going to wrap it up for your Rocket League news today. Is there any other teams that you guys think deserve or have earned that classification of, we are worth being picked up? We have a chance to do well, not just in our own region, but also at the major. And I'm talking like top 8 at major potential. So until we get international competition, who knows what that's going to be, whether it's going to be NA, EU heavy, maybe South America comes surprises us with Furia because they look goated. Shoutouts to Jan, my boy. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys have any additional questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what your guys' go-to team to get signed is, and we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.